What's going on, everybody? It's Tim at 5 Star Ford. Wanted to make y'all another video again today. This one's going to be a little bit easier. It's going to be fast, simple, and easy. It's called the payment equation. I actually think I got this little equation up, made it up myself. Not sure if anybody else has thought about this, but you can see, like I said, I'm just starting out, so you see the props that I'm using. It's a 5-star drive out, sticker tag. So anyways, basically what I'm going to go over today is payments. The dealership has nothing to do with it. The bank really doesn't have nothing to do with it. It really is this formula right here. So this formula here is a P equals N over O plus C. This formula to me is what equals payments. I have no control of payments. The bank doesn't have control of payments. The dealership doesn't control your payments. This formula controls the payments. So what this formula stands for is P is payments. Payments equal negative equity over the options on the vehicle you chose plus your credit score. So again, payment equals the negative equity on your trade, if you have any or if you don't, over the options you chose on the new vehicle plus your credit score. That right there is what equals a payment. So for example, if you lower the N or the O, you're going to lower your monthly payments. So for example, if I have $8,000 of negative equity and you put $8,000 down, you lowered the negative equity, which means you just lowered the payment. Options. What it means there is, for example, say you got an F-150. It's a 5028 Lariat, fully loaded. It's got a panoramic roof. It's got navigation, it's got touchscreen, it's got the whole 9 yards. And say you don't like what the payment is. See, if you lower the options, you go to 18-inch tires, your payment just dropped. You go to 4x2, your payment just dropped. If you go to a XLT 302A, your payment just dropped. So what I'm always telling my customers, and for sales professionals, when you work this thing here, this is the formula. If they lower their negative equity, if they lower their options, they're going to lower their payment. And then of course the last one is kind of self-explanatory, credit. So your credit does have a big factor in this as well. So I mean, if you got a 500 credit score, of course your interest rate's going to be high. Then of course your payment will be higher. So if you got an 800 credit score, your interest rate's going to be lower, and then in turn it's going to make your payment lower. So what I always tell my customers, and I know customers are listening as well, if you lower either one of these two, you're going to lower your monthly payments. So put some cash down and get rid of the negative equity. If you don't like the payment on a big boy truck, get less truck. A couple other things I'd like to talk about, especially with customers and sales professionals, is that no matter what we do, we can't control payments at all. I mean, it literally is the customer who controls the payments. So you also need to find a vehicle that fits in your budget. So for example, you have a $500 a month budget. That's what you've budgeted. Find something that fits in that $500 budget. What I run into a lot, and customers were listening as well, what I run into a lot is people know what their budget is. They try to find a truck and just jam it in there. So for example, a 2019 Lariat that's leveled and lifted, and it's not going to be a $500 payment. You can't get mad at the sales professional or get mad at the company for not making that payment work. I mean, it just doesn't work. It's kind of like the housing industry. You know, you get pre-approved for a house, and then you tell your lender, hey, I'm approved for a $120,000 house, and they go around and try to find you 110, 120 at the most, $90,000 houses. Car business should be the same way. The biggest problem that I run into, and I'm hoping customers listening to this, the biggest problem I run into is people come in wanting a $300 to $500 budget on a brand new F-150, and that math just doesn't add up. And then you get pissed off at the dealership that we didn't make it work. Well, no, we don't control that. This controls your monthly, I prefer to say monthly investments over payment, but this controls it. So again, short and sweet, nice and easy. This is my little formula for a payment. The formula is negative equity over options plus credit equals your payment. I don't control your payment. How much negative equity you have controls your payment. The options you chose on the new vehicle control your payment. Your credit score, if it's in 500, that controls your payment. I had nothing to do with that. So this is a real good formula to use. Also, while I'm talking about it, this is for customers and for sales professionals. The #1 way to buy a car is cash. I don't care what anybody says, hands down, the best way to purchase your new vehicle is cash. #2 is, if you're not paying cash, is to put a large initial investment up and do large monthly investments by going short terms. Really, we're at the point that you shouldn't go past 60 months. If you go past 60 months on a loan, you go 72, 84, and now they're up to 96 months. When y'all do that, you're shooting yourself in the foot. What's happening is you're paying a lot more interest. It's harder to trade. So if you cut back 1 year, you're probably going to save yourself $2,000 in interest. If you cut back 2 years, you're probably saving $4,000 in interest. I also like to tell people that like to trade a lot, okay, I have some of those, stop going 84 months. If you go 84 months, 72 months, you can't trade a bunch. And what's going to end up happening is you're going to pile negative equity on top of negative equity on top of negative equity. So I guess the main things today is that's the payment formula. Find a vehicle that fits in your budget instead of trying to fit a vehicle into the budget. It's just like the housing market. And stop going so long terms. Bite the bullet. You do 1 year less, you're paying $100 a month. That's $25 a week. That's less than a Coke a day. Bite the bullet, do 60 months, put something down towards the initial investment, and stop going 84 months. So again, Tim at 5 Star Ford in Warner Robins. Just a little short coaching video. If you don't mind, please subscribe below. I need 1,000 people to subscribe by December 2020. That's my goal. Hopefully I can knock it out of the box. So again, Tim Denton, 5 Star Ford, Warner Robins. Please hit the subscribe button below. I do have an iPod little thingy majigger coming. So my videos, I won't have to get up all the time. I do have a little thing coming for the phone, and like I said, it'll get better. We'll get it fixed up. So again, Tim Denton, appreciate y'all watching the video. Hit the subscribe button below.